so then that night, we went over to their house, and they had a genealogist there with her laptop from Ancestry, and she was going to walk me through all the things.
Boy, he bring in the troops.
He had a camera there. He did a little interview with me, you know.
Oh, really cool.
How do you feel, and what was your process, and all of this. And so then they said, okay, so here, and she popped up her laptop and she said, here's your DNA results. And it was 46% Mexican. Okay, not Polynesian, not Italian, not Indian. 46% Mexican.
South of the border.
Yeah. And the rest was European. And she said, and here's your connections. Here's a connection here, and this is a cousin, and this is a cousin. And then she said, and this cousin right here is waiting in the living room. And I didn't know. Come on out. Like, this is your life, right?
Really? Welcome to Live Ready, Beyond Think and Grow Rich with your host, me, David Ibarra. And today I have a very interesting guest, Diane Meeks. Welcome to the program, Diane.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, let me set this up. This program is all about trying to find your birth mom. Diane, you were adopted at birth, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Tell me about that process. Tell me about your family, who adopted you, and when was it that you found out that you had a mom out there that you were in search of?
Great question. Well, I always knew that I was adopted. They just always told me.
From the very beginning?
From the very beginning.
Wow.
So it was never a surprise. And the story was that my parents had tried and couldn't get pregnant, and so they put their names in for adoption and had waited 7 years.
Wow.
7 years, and then finally got a call from the place here in Salt Lake and said, are you still interested in a baby? And my mom was, yes, so excited, right? So they lived in Vernal, drove to Salt Lake, picked me up, and they just always told me that I was wanted. They waited 7 years just for me. But I still had this, this emptiness, this wondering, what about my birth mother? What was the story behind that? So
did you ever just ask your adopted mom and dad, or they were your mom and dad, but about your birth mother? Did they know her or anything of that? Did you ask?
I asked many times.
And they did not know anything about her?
They didn't know. And she would say, I wish I did know, but all I know about your father was that he was Spanish or Mexican, and your mother was blonde. That's all I know.
Wow.
And so we had tried at one point to even go to the county seat to see if we could find something, but the records were sealed.
Tell me about your parents in Vernal. Who were they? What were their profession? How was the home? Tell me a little bit about how you felt. Was it a loving home? Was it did you have a great upbringing?
I had the best upbringing. Like if I could have chosen, I would have chosen them if I had everyone to choose from. They were so wonderful. And my mother was a school teacher for 37 years, and my father worked for Vernal City. And I had an adopted brother 5 years after. He was 5 years younger than I was. And we had family there, reunions, Christmases together with other family, and it was just really beautiful. I lived close enough to walk to every school I went to, which I always wish I could ride the bus, but close enough to walk. It was a beautiful childhood.
So tell me, when was it that this thought got in your mind that you wonder where your roots came from? You wonder, like you have told me, who's my mom? When did that start to become a prominent thought?
I would say probably in grade school, because before that it was just my family was my family, right? I knew I was adopted, but people would ask me, probably junior high, high school, what are you? What am I? I'm adopted. That's all I know.
So you did not resemble your parents.
Not at all.
So that's why, and kids can be very inquisitive and sometimes a little hurtful in asking the questions that they ask. Tell me about some of those. How did that go? Do you have a incident as a memory you could share with us?
You know, people would guess. They would guess. I think you're Indian. Of course, at the time it was Native. You know, I think you're Indian. Oh, I think you're Italian. You must be Polynesian. Maybe you're Mexican. Maybe you're and then it just opened up all these questions for me. I wonder what I am.
Was it uncomfortable?
I don't know that it was uncomfortable as much as just opened up this unknowing. And I wondered what it was. I wonder what I am. And then, you know, I would talk to my mom and then she told me all she knew, you know, that was it.
Let me ask you this. When you had a holiday and you see the Meek family and all of the relatives, and I'm sure there were a lot of them, and they didn't look like you, did it make you wonder whether there was a gathering at your birth mother's, how that gathering looked and how your cousins and relatives looked? Did you ever wonder about that?
You know, I don't think I ever did. The Morrill family, which was my parents' last name, Morrill family.
Oh, right.
They just were my family. Although I had this little, you know, wondering about who my birth mother was, it was my family. The Morrill family was my family. And I didn't really think of it beyond just a curiosity.
So you grew up, went to school, got married, and it still kept lingering. Is that correct?
Kept lingering, yep.
And so what did you decide to do as a process to begin the hunt? Before it was a wonder. Then it turned in, no, I'm going to hunt. I'm going to find my birth mom.
Well, after the birth of the internet, yes, I'm that old, right? There was a website where you could register your name, and if your mother or birth father were looking for you and they registered their name, then, you know, and you had your birth date and where you were born and all those things, they would make a connection. But it was so new, and my parents would have been older, technical, probably not. So I didn't really have a lot of hope that would happen.
But you registered and then didn't get any reply, correspondence. No, there wasn't a hit.
Exactly. And then I kind of just forgot about it.
About what age were you when you went with that process?
I was probably in my late 30s, maybe. Late 30s, yeah.
So you begin to feel a little bit disappointed, and then what happened?
And then in our neighborhood and we had a friend. His name was Matt, and he worked for Ancestry. Ancestry.com
has unveiled a lot of secrets.
Yes.
Tell me about the process.
So we were in a conversation. We were playing games one night, my husband, me, and him, and we were out of town. He was helping us out. And I mentioned something about being adopted, wondering about my birth mother, always wondering about my birth mother. And he said, I work for Ancestry, and I have a DNA test I would love to just give you. Maybe we can find something. Maybe we won't. But when we get back, I will give you that, and let's see what we can find out.
Perfect. So you took the test, you mail it in, whatever it is. I guess what is it?
Yeah, it's just a saliva test.
Saliva test. And you mailed it in, and what happened?
So about 2 weeks later, my husband got a call. My phone was not working at the time. And so Matt called Scotty and said, we've got results back. Can you guys come over to the house tonight? So, of course.
Well, how did you feel when you heard that?
I was hopeful, but afraid to be hopeful.
Yeah. Protective of your emotions. Eh?
Yeah, I thought I don't want to build this up too much. I don't want to be disappointed, so I'm just going to go in flat and with no expectations. And it was a day of a lot of angst for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, proceed.
Okay.
What happened?
So then that night, we went over to their house, and they had a genealogist there with her laptop from Ancestry, and she was going to walk me through all the things. Boy, he bring
in the troops.
He had a camera there. He did a little interview with me, you know.
Oh, really cool.
How do you feel, and what was your process, and all of this. And so then they said, okay, so here, and she popped up her laptop and she said, here's your DNA results. And it was 46% Mexican. Okay, not Polynesian, not Italian, not Indian. 46% Mexican.
South of the border.
Yeah. And the rest was European. And and she said, and here's your connections. Here's a connection here, and this is a cousin, and this is a cousin. And then she said, and this cousin right here is waiting in the living room. And I didn't know. Come on out. Like, this is your life, right?
Really?
And so this was my first cousin who just lived like 4 blocks away from me.
No kidding. 4 blocks.
4 blocks away.
Now, she was a first cousin from your mom?
Yes.
Oh, very good.
So her father and my mother were siblings.
Oh.
Yeah. So she came out.
You found out right away. What? Wow, this was quite a treasure night.
Oh, my goodness. I remember the thought of, what is happening right now? Is this really happening right now? Wait, she knows my mother. She's my first cousin. Of course she's going to know who my mother is. It was so exciting, and tears, and so much anticipation. It was so exciting. Yeah.
So what did your cousin and your conversation, give us a little bit of a play-by-play on how that went.
She saw me when she walked in from the living room, and she just said, "Oh, you look just like your mother." And it hit me, and she was crying and just saying how it was so great to finally meet me. Well, she didn't know about me.
Right.
Like, I don't know that many people in that family knew about me. My mom was one of 11 siblings.
Wow.
And when she got pregnant, she was sent to live with her married brother out of the family home, right?
Right. Very common in that time period. Somebody would be gone for a sabbatical, 9 months, year, and then come back and hush, hush.
For sure. And here's the interesting part of that story is that when she was sent to live with her brother Jim and his wife Betty, they couldn't have children. And so they just said, "We would love to adopt your baby."
Wow.
And
your mother wouldn't?
She said, I just don't think I could do that.
Wow.
And they kind of yearned for that. It was a heartbreak.
You find out obviously then your first cousin set something up for you to meet. You found your birth mother. Tell us about that.
Okay.
And try to be as direct, and I know it might be emotional, but just share exactly what unveiled.
Okay. So after that evening and looking at my first question, of course, was, you know her, do you know where she lives? Do you have any pictures of her? And she said, oh, we have so many. They had several websites of family genealogy they had done because they were all LDS, and so they had a lot of genealogy. And she pulled some up and showed me some pictures of when she was young, but I wanted to see what she looked like right now. And I asked her where she lived. She said she lived in Nevada. And so I asked her, I don't know if it was that night, but I said, can we have a family reunion? I would love to meet this family. I mean, she's one of 11, so
Right.
there's a lot of family. So I think this all happened in March, and in May, we had a family reunion.
About how many years ago?
It was 9 years ago,
9 years ago. Okay.
2016. So let me back up. That night when Matt was telling me and doing the unveiling, he said, let's call your mom. You have her number? Okay, let's call her. I've been waiting for this. I wanted to thank her, tell her I love her, tell her I had a great life, and just find out her story. And so he gets on the phone with her, and she picks up and he says, this is Matt Dighton from Ancestry.com. And I'm sitting here with a new relative that we found of yours, and it's actually your daughter, Diane. Silence.
Wow.
It was just silence. And he said, would you like to talk to her? And I'm, yes. And nothing. And then it was this awkward pause. And he said, or I can give you her phone number and you can call her tomorrow or whenever you're ready. And she said, yeah, let's do that. Oh, David, I was so disappointed. I had waited for this.
Right.
And it was right there.
I'm sure that brings a ton of emotions from your mother and her decision and how it was viewed back in that time. But continue.
Absolutely.
Did she call you the next day, or how did that happen?
So the next day, remember I said my phone was broken. And so we gave her my husband's phone number. I was at work, and I'm thinking all these thoughts.
Right.
Is she upset? Is she scared? Does she feel violated, like so private?
Right.
Is she not going to call? What if she doesn't call? She's probably not going to call. Maybe she's mad. Maybe, I don't know, all these feelings. And he called me at about towards the end of my shift and said, your mom just called me, and she's going to call tonight at 7:00.
Great.
Okay. So I'm home, I'm waiting, and she called. And I'm anticipating this deep conversation, and I'm going to ask her all these questions, and we're going to be on the phone for hours. And it was not like that at all. She was very reserved, of course. I mean, I was trying to empathize with her and just wondering, she's got to be having all these feelings, right? And I said, I have wanted to find you all my life so that I could just thank you for giving me life and tell you that I had a wonderful childhood and was happy and healthy and felt loved, and just, I love you for that. And she was like, thank you. I said, so I've thought about you for years. I've thought about you all my life. Have you thought about me?
Have you thought about me is what you asked.
Thought about me? And she said, no, not really.
Wow.
I felt so many things.
Yeah.
And then she proceeds to tell me, I didn't want to give you up. I was young. The decision was just kind of made for me. by my family. And then I find out she didn't get to hold me. She didn't know if I was a boy or a girl.
Wow.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Which made the no, comma, not really, period, comment make a little bit more sense. Mm-hmm. There just was no connection. And I allowed that. I mean, I didn't get offended by that.
Sure.
I understood that there were a lot of circumstances at that point I didn't even know about.
It moved to a meeting, though, eventually, right?
It did, yeah.
How much time did it take before probably the shock of the secret is not going to be a secret? Diane is alive, and she is here. When did you get introduced to her, and how did that go? And when did you get introduced to your other siblings?
After meeting Andrea, my cousin,
right,
I had said, what about a family reunion? She said, yes, absolutely, let's put one together. We usually have one every other year. This is an off year, but we'll send out the notices and have everybody show up. So we arranged a family reunion in May 2016. And she was going to come. And I was thinking, what if she changes her mind? What if what are all of her feelings as she's driving here from Nevada? And they had some car trouble and in Payson, and they had to leave their car there. And then her brother drove down there to pick her up and brought her up to Highland. That's where we were. Mm-hmm. And on my way driving to the park, I get a call from Ancestry saying, hey, we hear you got a big deal today. You have a reunion you're going to meet your mom? Yes. Well, we're going to be there with a camera, and we're going to put it on TV. And I'm just like, how is she going to feel about this?
Right.
Is she going to think
So did you do it?
I said, let her know first so that she's not caught off guard. So the brother that went down to pick her up, I said, tell her that this is happening. I didn't know about it.
Right.
It was arranged, and if she doesn't feel like she wants to do that, completely respect that.
Right.
And I didn't know how she was going to feel when she drove up, but she drove up. There were the cameras.
So this was on television?
It was on television, Fox 13.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the video. So
you meet your family, and did you ever create a closeness with your birth mother?
I did.
Good.
Yeah. In that meeting, as she was walking across the parking lot and I saw her, I just felt this familiarity.
Good.
And I could see a resemblance, which when you're adopted, nobody looks like you. And I always wondered, I wonder who I look like. I wonder if I have siblings.
So how many siblings did you have on your birth mother's side?
3.
3.
I had 3,
now, there's a little bit more to this story, I understand. Because you were on hunt for your mother, but the blood tests or the Ancestry.com lined up with the other side. Is that correct?
At what age do you wish you had unlocked the principles that lead to success? Where do you think you'd be today if you had learned them as a child? Yes, Our Kids Can is a program developed at Harvard and tested in San Antonio's school systems, designed to give children of all backgrounds the opportunity to plant the seeds for future success, using learning techniques they understand and enjoy. Through engaging animated stories, fun sing-along songs, and interactive games, Yes, Our Kids Can teaches your child the empowering, success-driven principles needed to reach their full potential. Don't miss this opportunity to give your children the future they deserve. Yes, Our Kids Can is available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Sign up today and help make your child's dreams a reality.
Correct.
So I understand that you reached out to a woman that would be your sister. What was that about? Tell me about that.
So as I had said that all my life I thought about my mother. What was her story? What was her story? My father, I didn't really give a second thought to. I figured, player probably, didn't know the story.
Right. Didn't live up to his obligation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abandoned
Understood.
her,
Yeah.
And so it wasn't really even a thought. I just wanted to meet her. And after I met my siblings on her side, I'm in Ancestry, and I popped up this face of this new person, and I didn't understand where he had come in. And so I sent a message to him saying, well, first it was a woman, and I had sent a message to her saying, I see that we're connected on Ancestry, but I'm not exactly sure. I just did a search and found my birth mother, Sharon Lee, but I'm not sure how we're related. And she wrote back saying, I'm not sure how we might be related. My father was from Oaxaca, Mexico, and my mother was from Europe. And that's really all I got from her. And then I see this man's face show up on my profile saying, hey, here's a new connection. And I sent him a message saying that kind of the same thing.
Right.
Been looking for my birth mother. I was adopted at birth, and I did find my birth mother, Sharon Lee. I don't know how we're connected. Do you have any information? Maybe it's through my father's side. And then I waited.
How long did you wait?
Several months, because I didn't check back in Ancestry, and he didn't see my message for quite a while.
And so then what happened next?
So then one day I'm getting ready for work, and I get this call from a Facebook. You can call people on Messenger.
Yes.
Don't have to know their phone number. And I get this call, and I look at his face. I'm like, that's the same guy that showed up on my Ancestry. I pick up and I go, hello? And he's like, hey, how are you? And he says his name, and I go, hi, how do I know you? And he says, well, I'm pretty sure you're my sister. I go, oh my gosh, okay, tell me more. And then he proceeds to tell me how he is my half-brother, and how...
And he's pretty sure he knows who your father is. And what name did he give you?
He said, my name is David Ibarra. Yeah.
What a surprise.
What a surprise. He said, you said to me, I didn't see your message on Ancestry because I don't go on there a lot. But when I did, I see that there's a message up there, and I read your message, and it says, I was adopted at birth, and I've found my birth mother, Sharon Lee. And when
Never forget it.
Yep.
I'll never forget it. Go ahead. If you can finish the part that, well, the one thing that my dad, Francisco Ibarra, our dad, told me very early on that he had another child, and he told me about a relationship he had at the Hollywood Beauty College with a woman by the name of Sharon Lee, as soon as I seen the name. And he was always wondering about you. Were you a boy? Were you a girl? What happened to you? Did you have a good life? And he would bring it up often. And I had shared with you that the night of his death, I spent the entire evening with him, and all night. And we talked all night long. And he asked to write a message to all of the kids, grandkids. He loved them all. Dad was a very happy-go-lucky guy. And then he was being supported on the life support system. He's asked that it to be shut off. But before that, he said, now remember, Dave, remember. I said, what, Dad? Be on the lookout for Sharon Lee. I want you to find my other child. And then, boom. So, as I recall, go ahead and you tell the story what happened next, but I think it was a day or two. What happened?
So when you and I talked,
Yeah.
you had said the minute I read your message that said your mother was Sharon Lee, I knew immediately that you were my sister. And I then found out that I had all these other siblings, you and your brother, Mickey, then 3 siblings from another wife, and then another sibling from his final wife. And here's what's so interesting, David, is that all these years I had yearned to meet my mother, wondered if she had wondered about me. And then I got her comment, no, not really. And all the time, my birth father, this man that I had discounted and disrespected and didn't have any curiosities about, he was the one yearning for me.
Yeah. Everybody, manages their emotions differently. And my father, our father, talked about your mother always very kindly, and talked about your grandparents being very angry and moving her, and him, frankly, he thought he was going to get shot, is what he told me. But and then I think I went on to talk to you about Dad had recently just passed. I think you missed it by
9 months.
9 months, and his last wish was to get his ashes back to Oaxaca, Mexico, to lay in the same gravesite with his mother. And we were on our way to that trip, if I recall, in a month or something like that. What do you remember?
Yeah. So it was June, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the date that I got the call from you, but I said to you, so, oh my gosh, this is my brother. Where do you live? Well, I live in Salt Lake City. Where do you live? Well, I live in Pleasant Grove, which is 30 miles down the road. So I said, well, and we arranged a meeting that night. Do you remember that?
I do.
That night we drove up here and we met you, and you had this printout of all my siblings and their address.
I was
and
just
phone numbers.
finishing a video of Dad's life to be shown at his services in Oaxaca when we went there. And so I just played it for you.
Yep.
And then I said, this is going to be played, I think, next month, or might have even been a week, I can't remember. Yeah. But I was working on it, so we had it done. And then, I asked you,
Yeah, then you said to me, so my father, in the culture, in the Mexican culture, a year after the person passes away, the family all meets together again, and they have this big celebration of life, and they honor him, talk about him, and all this. And I'm like, oh, that sounds fabulous.
It's the Day of the Dead, and the culture from Oaxaca indicates that an individual does not die until they're not remembered by someone living. So it's encouraged to have pictures and even have a meal at the tomb or the gravesite of the individual that had departed. And so it's called Day of the Dead. And so we were all going, and
then you said, so we're going to do this and would love for you to join our family in this celebration. And I all these feelings and all these new things, and I said, that would be so great. And then you said, it's in Oaxaca, Mexico. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, of course it would be in Oaxaca, Mexico. I can't afford that. I don't have it in my budget. I don't think I can go. And you offered to pay for my ticket to fly to Oaxaca, Mexico.
So how did it feel when you met all of your other siblings and all of your family in Oaxaca? Because there's a few of them.
Oh, my goodness. So many cousins, tables and tables and tables of all these, brown people that I finally look like somebody, right?
And they were pretty inquisitive in wanting to meet you and introduce themselves.
They were so sweet. And most of them didn't speak English. and I didn't speak any Spanish, and we still had this connection, and it was a beautiful celebration of life.
So I want to, as we end the program, I want to ask you this question. All the years that went by, most of your life without, how did it make you feel to finally have finality to who is my birth mother, who is my birth father, and to begin to build relationships in both these new families? How do you feel now as an individual, your emotions, etc.?
The one word I would use to answer that question is complete.
Perfect.
I feel complete. And that missing wedge in my heart that was empty with a big question mark has been filled. And since then, I have lost both of my birth parents, my birth mother just last month. And it's okay because I got to meet her. I got to learn about Frank, my birth father, and know of his kind, sweet heart, and that all of his children adored him. And I really wish that I had not missed him.
Well,
you know, it was tough.
I'm sure you'll meet him. I know you've got a picture there. Why don't you pull it up and hold it in front of you so the camera can see it, and just kind of tell us a little bit about, there they are, your mom and dad, who ended up spending some time together during beauty school, so to speak.
Yes, they did.
Well, this is go ahead.
There's Frank. There's my mom, and you can see a resemblance.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I love this picture.
Well, Diane, we're gonna end the program now, and I want to give you a copy of my book, Live Ready, Beyond Think and Grow Rich, for your reading enjoyment. And life has all kinds of turns and exits, and it certainly was a delight to meet you and to have that final wish of my dad. Find Sharon Lee. And is she a girl? Is he a girl or a boy? And then he wanted to know.
Thumbs up, right?
Thank you very much. And that will be the end of our episode today.
Thank you, David. It's been great.